This fight is one that was really interesting because what happened, this was towards the end of my wolf filming of getting footage. A few nights before I died, maybe a week before I died, I'm not sure. But I had set up a double bubble back here in Tribute, and I wasn't nearly as successful in Tribute as I was in Providence, but I did get this fight and a couple of small meaningless kills that weren't worth showing you. But the Arbitrator was a fight that he had just come in through the gates. So you can see he's at 499, the gates at 500. The Arbitrator came in, and in any other frigate or destroyer, I would never fight an Arbitrator. And in general, I would tell you, never fight an Arbitrator. The reason that I'm fighting this Arbitrator is because I don't have the footage for it, but the day before I killed that Arbitrator and got the 1.2 billion or whatever it was, is kill on that hauler, I had engaged a Vexor on that same gate, and the Vexor aggroed back. I was able to kill all the drones from the Vexor, and I was working my way through the Vexor. I would have killed that Vexor, and I would have gotten the kill, but then local started going up, and I started seeing stuff on scans, so I used my overloaded afterburner to disengage and get away before everything else could get to me. Luckily, all the incoming stuff that was warping to aid the Vexor got stuck in a bubble. They didn't bounce to tacticals, which gave me the time I needed to get out. But I found that it was much easier to tank the drones than I had anticipated. And so that's what I want to show you here, is that I still don't think the Arbitrator is a great target, because the Arbitrator has three threats. It has drones, which for frigates are usually bad, but for the Wolf, they don't seem to be as bad as I thought they would be, which is interesting. And so drones, tracking disruptors are typical on the Arbitrator because it gets a bonus. And then newts. Because it's a drone boat, it doesn't need guns, therefore why not fit some newts? The Wolf is passive to an extent. The weapons are passive. You do have the NAS, but you still need to run that afterburner, and you still need to run your AAR, both of which are pretty cap hungry. So you're not completely passive. So let's start the fight. And I decided to stay in the bubble. I could have gotten out. I was about to leave, and I thought, no, let's fight this guy. Let's go to Fusion, because I'm going to assume the Arbitrator, he's going to be an armor tank. I'm going to assume you could go both ways in an Arbitrator, but typically it's going to be an armor tank. The rats have already softened them up a little bit for me. So I'm wanting this fight. I just want to see what happens. This Wolf was so good that I got to the point to where I just wanted to find out how much it could tank, because there were so many fights I had where, unfortunately, I didn't get much footage of those, but where I would be taking tons of damage and I would still escape and get away. And the ship just surprised me. It was seemingly unkillable. People could pressure on me and make me know that I couldn't stay forever, but there was always time for me to get away, which surprised me. I never seemed to overcommit myself with this ship. It always had the ability to save me. So anytime you're fighting a cruiser or anything with drones, especially something with bonus drones, a drone boat, you immediately want to kill the drones. I know from my time flying the Myrmidon that people killing your drones is the most annoying thing when you're a drone boat, because you got to constantly manage your drones. Pull them in, throw out another one. Pull them in, throw them out another one. You've got to constantly manage that, which means that you don't manage your modules as good as a result. And eventually, you run out of drones. So I track very easily. I take the drones down pretty good. Explosive damage is nice for drones. I don't know if it's the best. I'd have to go look at my drone charts that are on the website. But I think it's one of the best. So you can see that I got one drone, maybe two. He pulled them back in. But what's important to notice right now, I've got at least one newt on me and a NAS, probably a lot more than that. I would say there's 2 or 3 newts on me, I would guess. And I'm basically going cap dead right now just before I go into armor. But you could see how well I was tanking this guy up until that point. So I'm overloading my NAS, trying to get a little bit of capacitor so I can run my rep. And you can see that if I was able to run my rep here, I could have tanked this guy all day. I would have won this fight if it wasn't for those newts. He doesn't have a tracking disruptor. He's just got a scram and a web. I would have tanked this guy with ease, killed every single one of his drones, and got away easy if it wasn't for the newts. I just have no capacitor. He staggered his newts. And so what I need to do now is, at this point, it's very clear that I've lost this fight. I just don't have the capacitor to fight. Even the overloaded Nas is not enough. So when you see yourself in this situation, it's very clear that the fight is over. There will be no better of the fight. There's nothing I can do to improve it. So it's time to just get out, just to back off, run away, and do my best to escape. Now, with the new changes to newts, once you get past a newt's optimal, so if this guy's got any small newts, they're going to lose effectiveness. So the further I get away from this guy, not only is that going to help me get out of scram and web range, it's also going to reduce some of that cap pressure, which might allow me to get back enough cap to survive. So I need to prime my afterburner to be overloaded. So if I ever get enough cap for it, I need to get an overloaded afterburner cycle. If I can get an overloaded afterburner cycle off, then I basically am guaranteed to survive. Now I'm moving away. It doesn't look like he has drones on me right here. I think he pulled them back in for a second, which actually saved me. Had he left the drones on me, then maybe he would have been able to kill me. So you see, I'm just starting to move away from him now. I got one cycle in. Getting a little bit further away. If I can get another cycle in, then it'll do it. I need to get that scram on him so he can't get a cycle of his micro-warp drive. I'm actually working through him. Unless this guy's a structure tank, then maybe I played it wrong. Maybe I should have just went after him full power from the very beginning, because you can just see that if he's not a structure tank, he's about to die. You could make the argument right now that I should turn around and go back in and overload my guns and try to just completely annihilate this guy. We're about to find out. If I don't warp here in a second, we're about to find out if he's a structure tank. And then if he's not a structure tank, I'm going to be pissed because that means I should have went back in. I've got enough cap now to run a AAR cycle. He's not a structure tank. I put him that far into structure with my afterburner, with being at 9K. I'm so far into fall off on those guns that it's a joke. I 100% absolutely could have killed this guy, but I was already in the get out, run, focus on everything I can do to get far enough away from this guy to warp off. You can see his points down. It's time to warp. I'm just going to warp straight to the gate, which then I can bounce. It was a mistake. I had won this fight. This is the first time I watched the video. I didn't know, in my head, I was tunnel vision. So I was tunnel vision on modules, distance, and capacitor. That's all I was looking at. Modules, distance, and capacitor, tunnel vision, and I could have killed this guy, 100%. All right, now that's not so sure then. Because look, he just surged back with a bunch of armor there. If he was bait tanking me, then he would have won. So that's not so clear. If that's the case, if he was actually bait tanking me, then it's a hard call. It's a hard call. The cool thing is the Wolf was able to survive that. Most frigates in that situation or destroyers would have died. It's just, it would have been a absolutely no-win scenario. And what I want to go back to is I want to go back to the very beginning, and I want to look at those drones and see how well they're hitting me. All right, so we're going to look up here. Glances, so a not decent hit. I hit him, so he's hitting me. He misses. His hammerhead misses. Hammerhead misses. Other hammerhead hits. So you can see that the hammerheads are struggling to track. Miss, miss. Let's see. And he pulls them back in. Now let's see what the warriors do. So this is so cool about having such a small signature radius, is that even drones struggle to hit you. Now they're still hitting me and applying DPS, but they're not great hits. They're grazes, glances, misses. They're not solid hits. They're not like mine. Mine are penetrates, hits. So that's the quality of the hit. My hits are high quality. His hits are low quality. Now we've got the warriors. And so you can see the warriors are very different. Warriors track really well. I believe warriors track better than any other drone, I think. I'm not sure. But smashes penetrates. Glances smashes. So the warriors are tracking me much better, which is putting a lot more pressure on me right now. So that's interesting. All right, so that's that fight. It was an interesting fight. I escaped. I survived. There's nothing more really special about it. I go up to attack and get repped up and reload and all that stuff. And you see in local I say was neuted so hard I couldn't even scram, and his newts had won it for him. He's blaming it on his TV. Don't think so. Anyway, so it was a good fight, and I enjoyed it. I wish I'd have killed him. I wish I knew that. I wish I knew if I could have killed him had I turned back in. Was he bait tanking? Or was I actually about to kill him, and had I just went full bore on him from the very beginning, would I have killed him? Just let him leave those hammerheads out that were missing anyway. Leave those out. I go just for him, and maybe he doesn't ever think to put out the warriors, and I win that fight. So I'm not convinced that I played that right, and maybe you can learn something from that.